reality, falsely accused, unjustly imprisoned. Yet the Bible says the Lord was with Joseph and showed him mercy and gave him favor. Genesis 39:21. How? Because Joseph mastered the art of acting as if nothing bothered him. He didn't let bitterness control him. He didn't allow circumstances to dictate his peace. And because of that, he walked into his destiny. When you learn to act as if nothing bothers you, it doesn't mean you're ignoring reality. It means you're rising above it. You're saying, this thing won't rob me of my peace. This moment won't pull me out of purpose. This emotion won't dominate my destiny. You see, mastering emotional control is not just about being polite. It's a spiritual discipline, a secret weapon. When you can remain steady while the world shakes, God can trust you with more. Right now, someone's emotions are holding them hostage. Anger over an offense, anxiety about the future, frustration with people's actions. But what if I told you that your greatest power isn't in reacting, but in remaining? When you learn to act unshaken, you protect your spiritual growth, deepen your relationships, unlock supernatural productivity, and step into the destiny God has for you. He who is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he who rules his spirit than he who takes a city. Proverbs 16:32. In other words, self-control isn't weakness. It's warfare. So here's the core question we must confront today. How do we act as if nothing bothers us, even when everything does? How do we carry peace in a storm, smile in adversity, and walk tall in the face of trials? Over the next few moments, we'll unpack biblical principles and real-life tools that will equip you to walk like Joseph, stand like Jesus, and live like the emotionally unshakable child of God.
Watch what magnesium does to your bowels.
If you have to wipe more than 4 times after you poop, here's why.
The Mayo Clinic confirms that stuck poop can cause these embarrassing skid marks in your undies. You see, when stuck poop causes a traffic jam in your colon, your bowels become too full. And as the pressure builds up, liquefied stool leaks around the stuck hard poop and stains your underwear. So how can you clear out all that stuck poop so that you don't have to worry about skid marks anymore? Well, do this to clear out stuck poop fast. Fiber helps you poop, right? Nope. What about drinking lots of water? Nope. Do this to clear out stuck poop fast. Kind of surprising, but diarrhea is actually a form of constipation. Weird, right? Most people think diarrhea and constipation are two different things, but the fact is diarrhea is your body's desperate last-ditch attempt to get things moving again. So even though diarrhea is moving things along, not all of your poop cooperates and comes out, and the most stubborn poop gets left behind, stuck in the grooves of the colon. That leftover poop acts like Velcro and grabs onto new poop, causing it to pile up. So what do? Well, it's not glugging down glasses of psyllium or other fiber, because that makes things worse. Because according to New York's top gut doctor, fiber just adds bulk and weight to already stuck poop. And that's like adding more cars to a traffic jam. Don't take laxatives, choke down psyllium, or drink lots of water just to poop every morning. It's not the best way to unclog stuck poop. There's an easier way. It's called the 7-second poop method, created by Dr. Gina Sam, a top New York City gut doctor. She was one of the very first doctors to investigate the link between the health of our gut and excess weight. She's now going to show you her 7-second morning ritual for a satisfying full colon release that anyone can do at home. So if you're feeling backed up, if you are feeling bloated, constipated, tap the button below this video to see Dr. Sam's 7-second poop method now. It's going to get things moving along, clearing out your bowels, and you could even feel 10, 15 pounds lighter almost instantly. Tap the button below this video to see Dr. Sam's 7-second poop method.
I had a health condition and you hypnotized me. And in 20 minutes, that health condition disappeared. I was mind blown. And that's when I started, working with you more. And we produced a program together called Everyday Bliss. And it is in this program that we release this powerful audio that people are talking about. It's called the Hypnotic Trance. This is the 23-minute audio that rewires your brain in terms of how your brain perceives stress and anxiety.
If you do anything for 5 days, you're going to be different. But if you listen to the hypnotic trance that I made for Everyday Bliss, you're going to be super different, because it's not just that you relax, you feel calm, your burdens are lifted, and you feel really wonderful. It's that I make it so you listen with headphones. So some messages are for the right brain and some for the left. You see, the left brain thinks in terms of logic, linear, and sequence. The right brain in terms of abstract metaphor. And so when you listen to messages simultaneously for the right and left brain, you're communicating with the whole brain. So this is a very sophisticated matrix of messages that go deep into the unconscious mind, that literally change the way you perceive life.
Ray Mash was struck on the head at a construction site and developed the incredibly rare disorder of hysterical blindness. He was unable to see anything for 8 years. When I began working with him, it took some months before he could start to see images again. And then eventually, one day in a session, he could see his wife's face. How did I do it?
Hello, I'm Paul McKenna, and I've been studying the human mind for over 30 years.
#1 name in the UK now is Paul.
Please welcome Paul McKenna.
Paul McKenna. Paul McKenna will
Paul's hypnotic powers.
Paul McKenna's thinking.
Paul McKenna thinking.
Back in the early 90s, I had a comedy hypnotism show that was watched by hundreds of millions of people all over the world. I'd hypnotize people to think they were a ballerina or a Martian from outer space, and I was using hypnosis purely for laughs. Then I moved into helping people to use hypnosis for better things, to quit smoking, lose weight, and overcome phobias by reprogramming their minds. That's when I started getting extreme cases. For example, the veteran who'd had PTSD for 7 years and kept waking up screaming at 3 a.m. The lady with a fear of heights so bad she couldn't even climb a stepladder. The woman who was so cripplingly anxious about her appearance that she couldn't even look at herself in the mirror. Basically, the people that the rest of modern therapy had given up on. And I just thought, I wonder if it'll work. So what I did was guide them into an incredibly relaxed state of mind, more deeply relaxed than they'd been in years. Then, like a computer programmer, I'd go into their subconscious and find the unhelpful programs that were causing these behaviors and change them. As easy as flipping a switch, turning off the fear and turning on the freedom. What happened next was astonishing. 7 in 10 people were completely cured in a single 60-minute session. As if a switch had been flipped in their head, and suddenly the heavy weight of stress, anxiety, and worry were gone. Instead, they felt calm, alert, and resilient. It went from, oh my God, life's overwhelming, it's too much, to, I can breathe. I can see, I can feel fantastic, I feel clear-headed again. These people who are suicidal, grief-stricken, depressed, and then suddenly they've got a whole new lease on life. Now, to the untrained eye, it looked like I was performing miracles. And when I started demonstrating this to the military for treatment of PTSD, their traditional therapists couldn't believe it. To them, it looked like magic. They thought it was all too good to be true. They said, no, that's impossible. It'll never last. I don't blame them for being skeptical. I mean, think about it. When you're able to cure someone's PTSD that they've had for 10 years, that no other therapy has worked on, and you can do it in minutes, it looks unbelievable. It looks like a magic spell. But I knew it wasn't magic. Any sufficiently advanced technology looks like magic to the uninitiated. Just imagine showing up with an iPhone back in the 1800s. So I put my reputation on the line, and I made another TV show called I Can Change Your Life, where we travel around to show that these cutting-edge techniques work quick, and they last. And the results spoke for themselves. There's Matthew, who had a severe case of Tourette's, a brain abnormality with outbursts triggered by stress, who got an 80% reduction in his symptoms. And a lady who had a fear of heights, just 1 hour later, climbed on a C-111 cargo plane, and at 3,000 feet, she stands on the lip of the door, totally fearless. Or Ross Smith, the veteran and paramedic whose PTSD induced stress and anxiety that nearly destroyed him for years. Eventually, he tried to take his own life twice. Then after 3 sessions with me, his mind was reprogrammed and his stress was gone. We documented everything and took part in university trials that championed alternative therapies. And time after time again, we showed that anyone can easily reprogram their mind to escape from stress, anxiety, and worry without years of expensive therapy, going over and over problems again and again, without having to painfully relive the past trauma, and without having to do virtually anything at all. All they needed to do was sit back, relax, and let me do the work.
Hypnosis helps you to train your brain to relax. You keep your edge, you keep all of your ability to protect yourself and do the things that you need to, but you feel in control. You're able to, at will, switch into positive, optimistic states. So instead of being in that place where your mind is racing and you're worrying about everything, it's great to be able to switch that on and have instant peace, calm, and comfort. Hypnosis
was suddenly the biggest psychological breakthrough in centuries. And my show went stratospheric across the world. All of a sudden, my phone rang off the hook with people saying, "Can you do that for me?" And it wasn't just people who wanted help with stress. It was also some of the most successful people in the world who wanted to be even better. There was one particular moment that I remember vividly, when Nigel Benn, one of the all-time greatest boxers, grabbed the microphone at the end of the fight and thanked me for helping him win.
The person I'd like to thank most of all is Paul McKenna, who hypnotised me and made me believe in myself.
Well, after that, my phone started ringing off the hook. Everybody wanted me to solve their problems. Champion sports people, superstar actors, even members of the royal family.
And leading CEOs endorse my work.
At that point, I felt like writing a self-help book, and I had no idea that it would become one of the biggest self-help books of all time. Number 1 in the UK and number 2 in America, only because Barack Obama was number 1. Since then, I've written 22 best-selling books, sold 12 million copies in 32 languages, made regular appearances on The Ellen DeGeneres Show, Good Morning America, The Dr. Oz Show, Rachel Ray, Anderson Live, and many more. I had no idea I was going to become the go-to guy for some of the most talented and famous people on the planet. Now, what I've discovered after helping millions of people over the last 30 years is that if you're someone who suffers from anxiety, stress, or worry, it's not your fault. It's not. It's simply the result of bad programming. You see, everyone gets programmed with beliefs and habits that are formed in the first few years of life. Many of our programs support us, opening a door, tying our shoelaces, but some programs we pick up along the way don't support us. Fear of public speaking, self-doubt, insomnia, getting too stressed too quick. Whilst most of our programs support us, everybody has a few negative programs in their subconscious mind. Many of these ultimately make us stressed and anxious and spoil the quality of our lives. Right now, there are so many reasons to be stressed. The war, the economy, but in addition, you've got background stress. An argument, caught in traffic, a deadline, late for a meeting, dealing with a difficult person. The seemingly little things in life that mount up to create enough stress to cross a threshold. This is where we start to get moody, make bad decisions, we snap at people, and eventually we get sick. Early signs like high blood pressure, back pain, insomnia, depression, and even excessive drinking are all indications of excessive stress. And sadly, for some people, years of accumulated stress mean that when they get sick, it's too late. It's only then that they wish they'd done something sooner. But what if there was a simple, natural way? What if there was some brand new, simple psychological techniques that take minutes to do and dramatically reduce your stress, leaving you full of energy, thinking clearly, and letting you keep your edge? The new scientific breakthrough is finally here, and it's comprised of a number of advanced techniques that quickly reprogram your subconscious mind so that you automatically go into optimum states, able to handle problems and challenges in a relaxed, alert feeling of control, the same way that high achievers do. When you're in a state of relaxed alertness, it's like pushing the off switch on overwhelm, desperation, and anxiety. and pushing the on switch for confidence, resilience, and control. Can you imagine how you'd feel if no matter what was going on around you, you felt in control? To be in the zone of happiness and bliss, and at the same time, able to handle all kinds of things that life throws at you? Usually, it takes a single session to reprogram your mind, to not only relax and temporarily feel better, but to actually change the way you see the world, to shift away your perceptual filters so that you feel free of the burden of anxiety and stress, and you can see solutions and opportunities all around you again. This is done through hypnosis, deep relaxation, NLP, visualization, and psychosensory